Hi there. Well, I would like to, before we start a little more work on baseline, I would like to go over Home on the Range again, as it came up in class last time, because I think that it's such a powerful example of color chords and interpretation, and it kind of can blend a lot of the things we're going to be working on, including baseline and chord melody. Uh, And the reason it's so powerful is because it's typically played in a very boring way. And by adding the elements that we're working on, it can be played in a powerful way and a stirring way, which is what we want to do with music is we want to stir people and inspire them, lift them up, get them involved, right? So give me a home. I go to the flat 7 there, where I have a F6, Buffalo Roam. I'm gonna go to the minor 6, where the deer and the antelope. I have a D7, D flat 7, and I can put in the suspended 9 or 2. Turn around on the flat 7, G flat 7. Where seldom is heard 7, a discouraging word, F6 to minor 6, and the skies are not cloudy. So G suspended 4. Put the D in there. Home, home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play. Walk down from the G to the major 7 to the flat 7, where seldom is heard a raging word and a on a cloudy all day. So you notice that the melody is in there really, and just by including some of these color chords, it's right there. Later lessons we're going to be working on chord melody, and it's not that hard. That's D7, 6, back to the flat 7. F. Suspended 4. And if you notice here, I don't always have to, I go G. I'm not really putting this note down because it's not necessary. And I can, one finger. It's from walking up, two fingers, D, and this B here, this form of a G, right? So sometimes we don't have to use the full chord. Now, adding the bass line, we go, this part. I can walk this C up to a D. That note there is an E, so play the melody in the bass. better in the bass. Imagine you're supporting someone singing, right? And you don't have to play strummy thing. You just go. Instead of walking down to the flat 7 in my upper string, then I walk back into my C, right? So that's just one thing. But Home on the Range is such a great example because it can be just played in such an elementary, basic way. But by just adding some of these elements, we give it so much more richness and ability to engage people, I think, in a more powerful, musically centered way. And now, so we did some other bass line work here, right? The alternating bass line in any song. As I told you, some people did My Girl last year. Not the greatest example, but it's okay. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. And then we talked about oh yes, it goes to G. If you're moving from a G to a C or C to an F or any movement from a 1 to a 4 or a 5, you can always use the bass line to move in between those chords, right? So moving from a C to a G, or moving from a C to an F, and you can do that in any chord, right? There's an A. We're going to move into the blues idiom for the next section, and now that A note and an F to a F sharp, an E to an F sharp, and it's a very powerful form of accompaniment. If you do it like that, you have kind of a country western feel. You can do Home on the Range like that. Oh, give me a home. It's kind of a country western feel. And of course, if you kind of give it a little more of a rhythm to it, then you have blues, right? And if you give it even a little bit more rhythm, then you have rock. Right? So we see sort of evolution of music and how it kind of joins together. It's country western into joins with R&B, rather country western and blues, and then country western and blues kind of morph into R&B, what's called R&B movement of the 40s and 50s, and then that sort of morphed into rock and roll. And also from the 40s and 50s, we have the boogie woogie line, right? So oh, you are my son. Oh, give me a home. I moved from the A to the B, right? To a B7. Got my bass line right there. B to F sharp. You know that chord, the B7 chord, very nice chord. This is a very interesting technique. E, and then which is kind of it's got the A and the F sharp in here. You don't really need this finger. It's sort of an E suspended with a F sharp in the bottom, and I can move that same 2-finger figure up a step, which is kind of a way of walking into a A from a E, right? It's a nice little technique. So one other thing I want to show you, I'm going to put a song on Blackboard called Yes You Can. It goes, oh, can you beat the drum today? And then there's a 2-bar fill. It goes, I think, something like this. Or you can play it in the bass. Or you can play anything you want. Like, it's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some kind of syncopated rhythmic figure. Many different ways to play it. You can play how it's written, or you could just play anything you want to fill up those 2 bars. Your client would be expect to play the drum there, and you're doing something to complement that. And you think when you play the drum today, can can you beat the drum today? All color chords. D suspended 9, E minor 7, G minor 7. Can you beat the drum today? And then the thing that I want to show you related to the bass is the chorus. Yes, you can. D to F sharp, G, A. So it's going. This is kind of more my arrangement than the traditional arrangement, I think, but I think it's a good example of the way the bass line. D to F sharp, G. You go, yes you can, yes you can play that drum today. Yes you can, yes you can. F sharp, and then G, you can play that drum today. Right? You can play that drum today. put up for you on Blackboard is the use of that song with an autistic boy, very, very seriously nonverbal autistic boy. It was very, very difficult to engage. And this was a session that you'll see is a bit of a breakthrough for him, where using that song, which I will play many different ways over the course of the 5-minute tape, was able to pull him in and connect with him in a way that really previously wasn't possible. So those are a few things we can talk about in terms of use of Bassline, and a few other things as well. And we'll see you on Thursday.